The search for Brian Laundrie has come to an end, travel restrictions are lifted, and Facebook is looking to rebrand. All this and more on this episode of Hawk TV News. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hawk TV News. I'm Jake Racino.
And I'm Erin Mulligan. The weeks-long search for Gabby Petito's missing fiancé, Brian Laundrie, has come to an end. On October 20th, authorities found human remains near items belonging to Laundrie at the Carlton Nature Preserve in Northport, Florida. The remains were found about 2 to 3 miles inside the reserve in an area that was recently underwater. A backpack and a notebook belonging to Laundrie were also found. Laundrie's parents helped law enforcement in the search. Chris Laundrie discovered the backpack, which led authorities to find the human remains shortly after. At that point, the Laundries were asked to leave the reserve. The next day, the FBI's Denver office confirmed through dental records that the remains were indeed Brian Laundrie's. These discoveries come over a month after Laundrie disappeared, days after Petito was reported missing.
On October 15th, the White House and President Joe Biden confirmed that travel restrictions from nearly 36 countries will be partially lifted. The announcement applies to both international air and land travel. The policy will be enacted starting November 8th. However, since the policy has not been fully lifted, all travelers still must be fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. This policy will allow those from European countries to travel to the U.S., including the UK, France, and Italy, among others. Officials say that the new system will put stricter COVID-19 protocols on travelers who are not from those 33 countries. The CDC will still be required to obtain personal information from the U.S.-bound travelers, like their phone number, for contact tracing purposes.
Alongside other renovations, Monmouth University has continued to update its medical program with a new simulation lab. This healthcare facility will become a way for students to get hands-on training experience in the medical field. The Linda Grew Nin Simulation Lab and Learning Center was dedicated to the university's Graduate Center. It's a 7,000 square foot facility with 6 patient examination rooms, observation rooms filled with computerized mannequins for real-life simulation, and a lab. The simulation lab opens a learning experience for students pursuing careers as OBGYNs, pediatricians, nurses, and occupational therapists. Also coming to health majors this summer, Monmouth University is launching a 3rd doctoral degree for its occupational therapy program.
Spotify announced its latest service that will help expand the way fans get to tune into their favorite podcasts. The company's new acquired podcast platform, called Anchor, simplifies the ability to create, record, and edit a podcast. Creators will be able to monetize their content through sponsorship opportunities. They will also be able to decide their own prices as well as establish what a subscription would entail. The podcast tool will allow creators to make certain episodes available to only subscribers. Fans will be able to access content through the Spotify mobile app, desktop app, game consoles, and smart TVs. The video podcast feature is currently exclusive to select creators such as Joe Rogan and Philip DeFranco, but there is a waitlist for interested creators. The new service will roll out gradually, with Spotify hoping to greatly expand video access to creators by year's end.
We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV News.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
On October 21st, Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun on the set of Rust, which killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. The gun was supposed to contain blanks and had been misfired on set before. There has been speculation as to who is responsible for this tragedy. It is reported that the assistant director, Dave Halls, had a history of unsafe working conditions on set. Maggie Galls, a prop maker who had formerly worked with Halls, said his sets were claustrophobic and the exits blocked, and no established fire lanes. According to court records, Halls was the only one who had handed Baldwin the prop gun just before it was fired. Halls yelled out "cold gun," signifying the weapon did not have any live rounds, which turned out to not be true. So far, no charges have been filed in connection to the shooting. Hutchins leaves behind a husband and a young son while Joe Souza is recovering in a hospital.
Keeping up with all the films in a post-pandemic world can be tough. Here's Ben Zavito with a rundown on everything Marvel Studios has planned for the remainder of 2021.
This year, Marvel Studios has put out fantastic movies like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, but their upcoming slate is looking even better. We start with The Eternals, which highlights 10 eternal beings that have protected Earth in secret for thousands of years. However, an evil force called the Deviants forces them out of the shadows to save Earth from extinction. This star-studded cast is headlined by Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, and Richard Madden, among others. The Eternals hits theaters November 5th. The next installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld. Hawkeye chronicles Clint Barton's life after the events of Avengers Endgame as he manages the after effects of what he has done. Now he's being targeted by a group called the Tracksuit Mafia with his protege, Kate Bishop, by his side trying to stop them. Hawkeye starts streaming November 24th. The last movie for Marvel Studios in 2021 is Spider-Man: No Way Home, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Benedict Cumberbatch. In the third installment of Spider-Man within the MCU, Peter Parker has to deal with the repercussions of knowing his identity as he seeks Doctor Strange for help. In doing so, Strange unleashes villains from across the multiverse who are all after Peter. Spider-Man: No Way Home hits theaters December 17th. For me, I am excited for all of these upcoming movies, but Spider-Man: No Way Home stands out most to me. That's all from me in this edition of the Marvel Minute. Back to you guys at the desk.
The International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees just barely avoided a massive Hollywood strike after reaching a tentative contract with major production studios. Nearly 60,000 workers threatened to strike on October 18th if their demands of better working conditions, longer rest periods, and better pay were not met. The new contract is a 3-year deal that includes a 3% annual pay, a 54-hour weekend rest period, and greater benefits for workers under streaming platforms who received little to no protection under the previous contract. This is due to the fact that the contract was agreed upon in 2009 before streaming had established itself as the powerhouse it is. Now workers in Hollywood will be able to return to set with a greater sense of certainty in their protection, while the Alliance continues to negotiate a new contract for workers in New York, New Mexico, Georgia, and Louisiana.
Social media giant Facebook might have a rebrand coming soon. An inside source reportedly broke the news that the company may be changing its name to better mirror its goal on construction, the metaverse. This comes from CEO Mark Zuckerberg's long-standing technological aspirations outside of social media, such as the company's acquisition of virtual reality brand Oculus and its progress in inventing AR glasses. The change would allow Facebook as a platform to keep its name as a service and exist under the new name as one of the many apps and platforms. currently living under the Facebook brand.
We have to take another short break, but we'll be back with more Hawk TV news.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's gotta come home with me. Not anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
We scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
11 people were arrested on October 23rd after a 10-month investigation of an alleged drug ring in Salem, New Jersey. The investigation, named Operation Worldwide, led to the seizure of 2 handguns, an assault rifle, 17 ounces of crack cocaine, 17 ounces of suspected heroin, and 6 ounces of fentanyl. The drug ring was allegedly run by Jerome Armstead, who faces a number of charges, including first, second, and third-degree drug offenses. 3 of the men, including Armstead, are being detained following hearings last week, while 2 others are on pretrial monitoring, and the rest are on pretrial release.
British lawmaker David Ames was stabbed to death on October 15th while holding a meeting with constituents. Ames was stabbed repeatedly while holding meetings with voters at a Methodist church in Leigh-on-Sea, a coastal town 30 miles east of London. Emergency services were called to reports of a stabbing at the church just after midday and arrived within minutes, but Ames tragically died at the scene at age 69. Police have arrested a man aged 25 on suspicion of murder. Officers from the United Kingdom Specialist Counter-Terrorism Command Unit are leading the investigation as to whether or not the killing was terror-related. Ames is survived by his wife, Julia Arnold, and their 5 children. Prime Minister Boris Johnson stated that Ames was praised as a committed public servant and was one of the kindest people in politics. Flags throughout the United Kingdom have been lowered to half-mast.
James Michael Tyler, who played Gunther on the hit series Friends, died on Sunday at only 59 years old. The actor's representative reported he passed away peacefully in his Los Angeles home after a battle with stage 4 prostate cancer. Tyler first made public news of this illness earlier this year. This left fans shocked as he made no mention of it during the Friends live reunion show, which aired in May. His family remembers him as an actor, musician, cancer awareness advocate, and loving husband.
Looking to add to your watch list? Here's Billy O'Neill with a quick review of Dune.
Warner Brothers' newest sci-fi spectacle is Dune, a film based on the first part of the 1965 novel of the same name by Frank Herbert. Dune follows the story of the Atreides family after being given control of the planet Arrakis, a desert planet known for holding incredible quantities of spice, a wildly powerful tool that makes intergalactic travel possible. However, as it becomes increasingly clear that their occupation of the planet may have been a trap set by the evil Harkonnen family, things begin to turn for the worse. Paul Atreides, the heir of the Atreides family, played brilliantly by Timothée Chalamet, is the center of the story, and has the ability to experience precognitive dreams of his destiny on Arrakis as a savior to its people. Helmed by director Denis Villeneuve, Dune has been one of the most anticipated films since it was announced, not only because of the credits of Villeneuve himself, such as other science fiction works as Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, but also the high regard the original book holds. Herbert's novel was the first to ever win the Nebula Award, given to honor each year's best piece of science fiction writing, and has long since been held in regard by fans of the genre as one of its crowning achievements. Many adaptations of the book have been attempted for both television and film, but each of them have failed, leaving the book being dubbed unfilmable up until now. It's safe to say Villeneuve and his crew broke that mold, with excellent pacing, top-notch storytelling, some of the best visuals you will ever see in a movie, and a star-studded cast. Dune is a must-see film this year for all those with a love for the genre in their heart, and is available to see today in theaters or at home on HBO Max. That's all I have for this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
We now go to Nick Presto with an update on Monmouth sports.
A lot has happened in the Monmouth sports, on the field, in the pool, and on the green. The women's soccer team earned the MAC regular season title after defeating Siena 1-0. The single goal was made after Chloe Ferreira sent a ball into the box, which was then headed by Jill Conklin and tapped in by Brianna Russo. The Hawks have won the regular season title in 8 of 9 seasons since joining the conference in 2013. Across campus, the field hockey team beat Albany 3-0 and increased to a 4-game winning streak. The two teams went scoreless over the first half before Anique Van Long scored on an assist from Lieve Midane. Van Long scored again shortly after before Lorraine Vanest scored to close out the game. This past week in the pool, both the men's and women's swim teams lost to Fordham, with the men's score coming out to 169-111 and the women losing 176-96. Although they took a loss, Cole Dyson got a win in the 200 and 500 freestyle, with Callan Smith placing first in the 100 and 200 backstroke. Alexandra Ho also came in first in the 50 and 100 freestyle. Cameron McHugh, Maggie McMillan, and Dean Byer also added individual wins. And on the green, the Monmouth's men's golf team completed in its 5th tournament this season, placing 8th in a 14-team field at the Lehigh University Invitational. Monmouth's Ron Robinson led the team, finishing in a tie for 19th individually. That's the latest on our Monmouth Hawks. Now back to you guys at the desk.
That's all we have for the news this week. I'm Erin Mulligan.
And I'm Jake Racino. Please be sure to tune in next week for more Hawk TV news.